You've probably seen a lot of videos about how they did audio for your favorite game, whatever it is, or music for your favorite game. It doesn't matter what it is. All kinds of different, behind the scenes videos and things like that. And they generally tend to take just about the same basic approach, which is that, what happens is that you see some various video clips of people talking about how important the sound is and how, the character or the item, if it's like a weapon sound or something like that, how that's really, really important to the sound. And then maybe you'll see some video of somebody like recording the sound in a sound booth. And then you'll see video of the gameplay. As if pretty much all you have to do is just record the sound and then you can just put it in the game. That's it. And this is, perfectly fine for a general audience who doesn't really know very much about this kind of stuff. But the people who are likely to be coming to this channel are going to likely be audio pros. And those people need to know what's really going on behind the scenes, what's happening behind the scenes in this kind of thing. And it goes the same for music as it does for audio. It's, if it's a behind the scenes situation for music, then what happens is you get all these players and they're playing furiously and intensely behind the scenes. And, then all of a sudden it's in the game. That's the idea. It's the same thing. If all you have to do is just record the sound or record the music or compose the music and record the music, and then it's in the game, and that's it. And nothing could be further from the truth. There's a whole long variety of things that can happen in that space between the point of when you get the thing recorded and when it's in the game. And that's the whole point of where a lot of this channel kind of comes into play, essentially. So it's like what we're trying to do is kind of demystify the process by which a sound gets into a game, essentially. So what I'm going to do is just sort of talk a little bit about something that, game audio pros know a lot about, of course, and that is implementation. That's what it's called, implementation, implementing the sound. So the basic deal about game audio, okay, from the whole point of view, if you wanted to just boil it down to the brass tacks of what it's all about, the deal is that this is essentially a nonlinear medium, okay? Now, every other medium that you've ever dealt with, in terms of making content, has always been a linear medium. So whenever you deal with things like video or film or television or whatever like that, any of that stuff, when you're composing music or making sound effects for it, that is, in fact, a situation in which the sound already is basically sort of preset effectively. In other words, it's already hooked up to be hooked up to a particular action in the movie or the film or the television show or the video clip, in which case that basically all you have to do as the sound person is just mix everything together and output it to the final format of whatever the media is going to basically be. It could be, stereo or 5.1 or Dolby Atmos or any of those kinds of different formats. It doesn't matter what the format really is. The thing is that because you know when things are going to happen, they're all, it's all going to be the same every time you play it, then we know exactly, how to basically hook our sounds up in that case, okay? Now, if there were a movie, for example, let's say you're doing a scary movie, and you had, like, say, 23 minutes and 10 seconds and 13 frames into the movie, you wouldn't go there and you're going to open the scary door, and the scary door is going to make a scary sound, And then what happens is that in a movie, if it's 23 minutes, 10 seconds, and 14 frames or whatever, you can basically stick your sound at exactly that point, and it will automatically be synchronized to the movement of the door, because we know that's when that exactly happens. And every time you play the movie, it will always happen at that exact time. That's not the case in a game. In a game, a player could be hanging out in the front of the place, hanging in front of the scary house, looking at the tombstones or the trees or, the bats around and possibly even never go into the house. But at some point they usually will, because the game has to progress in some way or another. And when the player goes into there, then what happens is there's going to be something that has to trigger the door to open, because that's the intent of the game developer, to be able to make it so that the door will open, right? So the idea is that there's either some kind of animation or there's some sort of action that a player can take in order to be able to open the door. In other words, what is known is how the sound will happen, but no longer when. Okay, so the when is gone. We don't know when the sound is going to happen, but we know how it's going to happen. There's an action that's going to trigger the sound of the door. But because of the fact that we're suddenly in a nonlinear world, now we have to basically make every single sound, every single audio clip, every single voiceover clip that plays inside a game a separate item. That's a huge difference. That's a very, very large difference in terms of how it's all being handled. Because the thing is that inside your typical DAW, you go ahead and mix it and you just bounce it out. And that's all you have to do is give them the stems. Maybe it's, you're breaking out the vocals and breaking out the music and breaking out whatever, the sound effects separate here and there so that they can remix them in a bigger mixing stage or whatever like that. But, in the case of games, that's not what happens. You have to keep every single asset separately. And you have to name them, right? So that's the idea, is that you have to specially name them so that, people know what they're supposed to do. So the deal in this case is that there's a whole process that goes into that kind of stuff. This is the basis of basically nonlinear audio. In fact, it's kind of similar to like a website, in the sense that you have to make it make sense no matter what you do, right? So in other words, you have to make these kinds of things. Now, the problem is that we're sort of marrying a linear media with a little bit, in the sense that, music kind of plays in a linear way, and even sound effects to some extent. We have to marry this with some kind of like sense that anything could be possible, that we might change our minds about something, or we might go a different way, and the music, the sound effects, the voiceover, whatever, the reactions have to change in order with those choices that we make. But because of that, we have to make sure that we keep all of the choices as separate items inside the game. Just to give you an idea, you could have like very, very small amounts of data. You could have very large amounts of data. A typical game, let's say Telltale games in the early days, like when they did things like The Walking Dead or the Batman series, maybe about 8,000 lines of dialogue, maybe a few hundred sound effects, and then maybe a few dozen music clips of different kinds. So, but you might have a game like Dragon Age Origins, which, was released a long time ago, about 10 years ago at least, if not maybe a bit more, actually, I think 2007, 2008. And it had 800,000 lines of dialogue in it, and that's just in one language. At that point, basically, we start entering a new realm, the realm of game audio implementation. The idea of taking those individual sounds, we might name them correctly, we have to format them correctly, we might have to even pre-mix them a little bit, in order to be able to make them work. And then we can potentially either stick them directly in the game engine, or we might stick them in audio middleware, and then eventually into the game engine. And, so there's, and one of the things that is really important to understand about this whole field is that the most accurate answer for any question in game audio is it depends. That is absolutely the most accurate answer, because there are so many games, there are so many types of gameplay, there are so many different methods of interaction that it's nearly impossible to sit there and say that this is the one way to make a game, or this is the way we were going to implement this kind of sound in a game. There's going to be a million different ways, basically, just like stars or planets in the solar system, or really stars in the galaxy, honestly. So it's just going to be a million different possibilities. So anyway, we're going to continue on this journey, and we'll have even more videos and stuff like that. But this is just a basic, idea of something that's been rolling around in my head for a while. And, just wanted to let you know, we'll have a lot more videos on this kind of stuff. So if you're interested, subscribe and also hit that notification bell. So alrighty, we'll see you in the next videos and explain even more of the mysteries of game audio. All right, take care.